How can a desert turn into a forest in just 20 years? Impossible, you say? Not quite. Today we're diving into the remarkable transformation of the Gobi Desert. Imagine a barren, sandy wasteland suddenly bursting into a lush green forest in a matter of 2 decades. The scale and speed of this change is nothing short of mind-boggling. But how did this happen? And what does it mean for our planet? In the next few minutes, we will unravel the astonishing journey of the Gobi Desert. Before we dive into its transformation, let's get to know the Gobi Desert a little better. The Gobi, stretching across northern China and southern Mongolia, is a vast, arid region known for its dunes, mountains, and rare animals. It's known as the 5th largest desert in the world and the largest in Asia. The climate here is one of extremes. Temperatures can soar to over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer and plummet to below zero in the winter. Historically, the Gobi was an integral part of the Mongol Empire and the Silk Road, hosting travelers, traders, and explorers. Despite its inhospitable conditions and barren landscapes, it has always been a place of intrigue and mystery. Yet, beneath the scorching sun and the endless sand, life has always found a way to persist. With all these harsh conditions, it's hard to imagine life flourishing here. But that's exactly what happened. The turning point came in the form of a grand project, China's Great Green Wall. This wasn't a wall made of bricks or stone, but a living, breathing wall of trees, stretching thousands of miles across China's northern frontier. The idea was as audacious as it was ambitious: to halt the relentless march of the Gobi Desert and reverse the tide of desertification that had been eating away at China's arable land for decades. The Great Green Wall, also known as the 3 North Shelter Forest Program, was launched in the late 20th century. The plan was to plant a staggering 66 billion trees over a span of half a century. This green barricade would serve a dual purpose. Not only would it act as a physical barrier against the encroaching desert sands, but it would also help to restore the ecological balance and biodiversity of the region. The execution of this project was a testament to human perseverance and ingenuity. It involved countless people from all walks of life, from scientists and environmentalists to farmers and ordinary citizens. Everyone had a role to play, and each tree planted was a small but significant step towards a greener future. As the trees took root, they began to transform the landscape. What was once a barren, lifeless expanse slowly started to teem with life. The trees acted as a natural windbreak, preventing the desert sands from spreading. They also helped to improve the soil quality and retain water, creating a more hospitable environment for other plants and wildlife. But the Great Green Wall was not just about combating desertification. It was also about creating a sustainable future. The trees not only provided a habitat for wildlife, but also offered a source of income for local communities through forestry and ecotourism. The impact of the Great Green Wall has been profound. It has shown us that with determination and collective effort, we can turn the tide against environmental degradation. And just like that, the barren Gobi started its journey from being a desert to a forest. It wasn't an overnight change. It took 2 decades of relentless efforts. The transformation of the Gobi Desert into the Gobi Forest was a painstaking process that required an unyielding commitment to a vision of greenery. But how did this transformation occur? The first step was the planting of the trees. The Chinese government initiated an ambitious project, planting billions of trees over a vast stretch of the desert. These trees, primarily poplar and willow, were chosen for their resilience against the harsh desert conditions. They were carefully nurtured, watered, and monitored to ensure their survival. As the trees grew, they began to work their magic on the soil. The roots of the trees dug deep into the sand, holding it in place and preventing it from being blown away by the wind. The trees also began to change the soil composition, introducing organic matter and nutrients that would make the soil more fertile and conducive for other plants to grow. The climate, too, started to shift. The trees created a microclimate with cooler temperatures and higher humidity. This made it possible for other plant species to survive and thrive, creating a richer biodiversity within the desert. But this journey was not without its challenges. Water scarcity was a major hurdle. The desert's harsh climate and lack of rainfall meant that watering the trees was a mammoth task. The government had to construct extensive irrigation systems to ensure that every tree received enough water to survive. The trees also attracted wildlife. Birds, insects, and small mammals began to call the Gobi Forest their home. This influx of wildlife further helped to enrich the soil and promote a balanced ecosystem. The transformation was slow and gradual, but over the course of 2 decades, the sand gave way to a lush green forest. The trees grew tall and strong, their leaves rustling in the wind, their roots holding firm against the shifting sands. The Gobi Desert had indeed become the Gobi Forest. What was once a vast expanse of sand is now a thriving forest, teeming with life. It's a testament to the power of nature, the resilience of life, and the unyielding spirit of those who dared to dream of a forest in the desert. But was this transformation a boon or a bane for our planet? This question has been the subject of many debates, stirring up controversies among environmentalists, scientists, and policymakers alike. On one hand, the transformation of the Gobi Desert into a lush green forest has had some undeniable positive impacts. It has drastically reduced desertification and soil erosion, enhancing the region's biodiversity. The new vegetation has acted as a natural carbon sink, absorbing massive amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and playing a pivotal role in China's fight against climate change. On the other hand, critics argue that the project has had some unintended negative consequences. For instance, the introduction of non-native plant species has disrupted local ecosystems, pushing some native species towards extinction. The extensive use of groundwater for irrigation has also raised concerns about water scarcity, as the region's water resources are already under significant strain. Furthermore, the transformation has highlighted the broader issue of human interference with nature. Are we playing God, altering landscapes at our will, without fully understanding the long-term implications? Or are we simply using our intelligence and technology to adapt and survive in a rapidly changing world? These are questions that we, as a global community, need to ponder upon. While the transformation of the Gobi Desert is indeed a marvel, it's a reminder of the delicate balance we must maintain with nature.